Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of the podcast. Today, we're just going to be talking about like the cancellation of like all these like sporting events, movies, shows, concerts, all these other things, and just kind of what our opinions are and where we think it's going to go. And to start off, the kind of discussion is if we kind of think it was a right to postpone all these things. Um, and kind of how they're adapting to them. Like I know like E3 and like all these other things are going to try to do like an online form of their kind of show. And is it even possible to kind of still do a show like that right now? So kind of like, what's your opinion, Lexi, on kind of like, did you think it was right to have all these things just canceled until further notice or like postponed, especially with the climate we are now, where a lot of people are kind of having their very strong opinions on whether or not we should even be like locked down or not?
Yeah, I don't know, I think that there's like points on every side of it, like whether whatever you want to happen. But yeah, I don't blame them for canceling stuff because I think that even if like the country was like reopened or whatever, I still think that a lot of people would be uncomfortable going to it, like
I
certain
agree.
events.
I agree. Yeah. I think that possibly. Yeah, it's kind of difficult because things like San Diego Comic Con are these where there's just thousands and thousands of people just in this one building. I can understand how that's like humongous risk. I remember when Seattle Comic Con, before it got pushed back, they pretty much just said, "Oh, we'll just be extra sanitary," and it was kind of like, well, what does that mean, really? It doesn't really like ensure you that like no one there is gonna have COVID. Um, but also, it's just I think if these things were still going to happen, I do think that there would still be large amounts of people that would go to them because I do
Mhm.
think, I mean, we're seeing today like beaches and Ruston Way, the
Yeah.
waterfront,
Mhm.
on nice days is just packed full of people, and nobody's really wearing masks. Everyone's just kind of hanging out. Whether you think that's right or wrong, I still think with just seeing something like that, I think that the demand or the want for going out and doing something is definitely very, very prevalent right now, especially. So let's say if there's a concert venue that says, screw the whole lockdown thing, we're going to be throwing a show this Friday. I personally think that there would be a lot of people that would go to it.
Yeah.
Granted, I do think the venue would probably get a lot of backlash, and I do think they would take their own precautions with like sanitary stuff.
Yeah.
But for me, I think my own opinion about the whole thing of like canceling events, like business being closed and whatnot, is I think if you want to be open, you can do it, and people themselves can decide whether they want to go out and
Mhm.
go to your business or not. Whether because the people who are going to stay in lockdown, self isolate, they're going to be doing that regardless. So they're not going to be going to your store whether it is open or closed. So
Mhm.
I think people, if they want to be open, they could be open, and the people who are going to want to go can go. That's just kind of my opinion. The second point I wanted to bring up is kind of how the companies are dealing with this right now. With particularly the movie industry, it's AMC. I know is like suffering really hard. They're
Yeah.
not being able to pay their debt. One of their landlords at one of their locations, I think it was in Florida. I could be wrong about that, but I know one of their buildings, the landlord was like suing them because they weren't paying their rent when they have no revenue coming
Yeah.
in at all. So, um, kind of just like, how do you think like kind of companies are going to recover from this? Big companies like Disney right now are even suffering huge losses from this, when shutting down their parks, production being closed, and all these other things.
Yeah. I think as far as like businesses go, like you're talking about, like they can decide whether or not they want to open and, if people want to go. I think that, yeah, I agree with that. And I think that also, if they're staying safe, because I saw like, do you know the Joe Box Cafe in Point Ruston?
Maybe.
It,
Is it like in the where the movie theater is and stuff?
yeah, it's like right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I saw that they're open, but it's just kind of like they have like a table out front, and you just kind of like stay in the line, then walk up to the table, then give your order, then they'll give it to you. So I think like just kind of altering it to where it's like that is like a lot better. So I think if you are just kind of like alter it to where, you know, people aren't really like dining in and stuff like that.
I do think companies can adapt, but you look
Mhm.
at something like that, and then you go to a Walmart, and there's all kinds of people in this one building,
Mhm.
yet there is this huge controversial thing of like other businesses not being, restaurants not being able to be open, churches can't be open, but you
Mhm.
can go to your Walmart and there's like all kinds of people just in that one building. So I think there's a lot of hypocrisy there. As for just the company side of things, I do think that there's ways they can adapt. It's kind of hard for things like movie theaters to do that.
Mhm.
Recently, there was kind of a huge controversial thing with Universal where they said that they were going to be releasing their films on digital and in theaters,
Mhm.
and they've all the movie theaters chains and studio companies kind of had this treaty where things won't go that way because studios need movie theaters to make the money off their movies,
Yeah.
and movie theaters need the studios to make the movies. And if you're putting stuff on VOD, that's you're making profit off of that, but that's hurting the movie theater business.
Mhm.
And they just kind of need each other.
Yeah.
So I remember AMC and Regal both kind of like agreed that we're not going to be playing any Universal
Mhm.
films. Like it doesn't
Yeah, I
matter.
saw that.
Um, I'm not 100%. I haven't been updated on that of whether or not
Mhm.
Universal. I know that the dude he keeps on contradicting his previous statement. He's like, no, 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 no. We're going to be releasing movies just in theaters, but we're also going to be having more movies come out on VOD.
Mhm.
And it's just like a lot of new things that he's saying that just contradict his previous statement. So it's
Yeah.
gonna be interesting to kind of see what comes up of that. But
Did Amazon buy AMC? Because I saw something about
I
that.
know there was talks. Amazon can buy AMC, and there's like this kind of talks of them being able to. There was a point where Apple could have bought like a bunch of stock from Disney to where they would be like the primary stockholder of the Disney stock, which I think is really interesting. But yeah, I think companies can adapt and kind of find ways to still make money. A lot of restaurants are doing to-go orders.
Yeah.
I know to-go is like a really big thing right now because nobody's able to like dine in, and if you don't
Yeah.
want to cook, then you could just order Uber Eats and have it come to you. So I know that's a big
I
thing
like
right
that.
now. Yeah.
Because I hate dining in anyways, because I just like to take it home. Because I hate eating in public. And I like being able to like watch TV, just be like comfortable. So I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, an excuse to do that now.
Um, but yeah, there is some industries where it's just hard to. Haircut places, I
Mhm.
know they're really suffering. And then the third and final point I want to bring up is kind of what will happen when everything gets opened back up again. When
Mhm.
movie theaters get opened up, when shows like concerts get like rescheduled and planned again,
Mhm.
um, all these restaurants and hair salons and all that stuff, when they all open up, kind of like what's gonna be the stigma with like the population? Like, is it good to go to a sold out show at the Tacoma Dome right after this whole thing,
Yeah.
And kind of just so what's kind of your take on that?
I think that once things reopen, well, I think as far as concerts go, I actually read, or I didn't read it, but I saw an article that said that they'll most likely be postponed till 2021 at like the earliest fall 2021. So I was like, oh, that's fun. But
I know for like Showbox Soto and stuff, I think it was a
yeah, I don't
show.
think it's probably that. For
Um, there was a no moshing, no like crowd surfing policy. Um, and apparently they have already had that policy, but everyone still does it anyway. So I assume like even with that there, it's still gonna happen. But
mm,
yeah, I think uh, I think it's gonna be a little weird, especially for movie theaters, because it's like you're in one room for like an hour and a half to 3 hours, and then 30 minutes go by and a whole new set of people come into that same room, sit in the same seat that you were just in.
yeah. I was talking to
So
my mom about it, and she was saying, because I was asking her like what she thought about it, and I think that chairs, it might like take some chairs out and limit the tickets to like a smaller number, just so more people are like separated. And then I think that it's going to be longer wait times in between movies because after like people leave one, I think that they're going to sanitize all the seats like a little bit more, like sanitize everything more.
I talked to my GM. I actually work at a Regal movie theater, and we met up recently, and she talked about how the company is going to want, if once we open back up again, there's probably we're most this is not like set in stone, but most likely all the employees are going to have to wear face masks.
Mhm.
Um, and then we had it set up before all the theaters closed, but it was like these checkerboard seating. Regal now has assigned seating, so there would be like 2 seats available, and then 2 seats you can't sit in, 2 seats
Mhm.
available. So there's like the separation between the seats. Um, so I know that's probably what's going to end up being, but it's also going to be really weird because all these movies are getting pushed back. So it's
Yeah.
like, is there just going to be one movie out for like an entire week, and then the next week another movie comes out, and it's going to be really weird how that all happens. There
Yeah.
was a thing talking about how maybe they're going to re-release some of the bigger films. So
Mhm.
like they might re-release Avengers Endgame, Avatar, all these other big films back into theaters, to get audiences back over there.
Mhm.
Which I don't have a problem with because Titanic's in the top 10. So if Titanic's in the top 10 movies, I'd be seeing that like every single day. Um, but I think it's gonna be interesting for movie theaters. As for concerts, I think that's a more of a tough one
Mhm.
because it's that if that involves a depending, I guess, depending on where you go. I mean, if you're going to Tacoma Dome and you have like a assigned seating and stuff, but like stuff for like El Corazon, Showbox Soda, where it's just like a pit and then that's it. There's like a
Yeah.
lot of body movement, and especially with raves and whatnot, that's gonna be really interesting because there's just a bunch of people all together at once.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know. I don't think restaurants or like hair salons are gonna really be hit that bad once
Mhm.
everything opens back up because I think there's a huge desire to go get a haircut right now, to go get your nails done right now, all these things. So I think a lot of those businesses I think are going to be really well off once
Mhm.
everything opens back up, especially restaurants. I know a lot of people are like dying just to go out and sit down and like, get food and, hang out at a restaurant and whatnot. So I think a lot of like the type of those kind of businesses are going to be fine, but entertainment businesses like Disneyland and stuff, I think it's going to take a while. I know the Puyallup Fair is still set to go
Yeah,
in
I saw that.
September, which is really weird. I wonder, are they going to sanitize the roller coaster every single
Yeah.
time people get off? Like, I
Or
think it's
make
gonna be,
people wear masks and they're just gonna fly off anyways.
yeah. I just think it's gonna be really interesting
Mhm.
how they do it. Even if it could be a thing like where, yeah, we're still set, and come September, they're gonna be like, you know what, we can't do it. So it's gonna
Yeah.
be weird if the Puyallup Fair ends up being,
Mhm.
if they're just gonna cancel it this year, or if they're gonna push it back to a future
Yeah.
date.
Yeah.
Um,
It's kind of
so
hard 'cause I know schools also have to. It's like they all have to make a decision now because it's not like they can just be like, let's just wait till like in the summer. It's like, well, no, you kind of have to tell everyone now if it's going to be in person or online. So I feel like
yeah,
that's why a lot are going online just to, be safe. But some are reopening.
yeah. I think this is schools got put in a weird position because I don't think any of them ever thought they would be put in a position where they'd have to go all online.
Mhm.
Um, Sucks to be graduating this year. To be honest, I wouldn't have minded not having to graduate,
I was just
not
thinking,
going to my graduation.
I was like, a lot of the stuff I did during graduation, like prom and like the ceremony and stuff like that. I mean, I did not want to do it, but I was like, it's not like I just felt like I was gonna be like, ugh, if I don't do it, then I'm just gonna like,
I didn't want to do it. I can look back right now. If I did not go to my walk graduation, I would.
yeah. I feel bad saying it because I'm like, I mean, I already graduated, so of course it seems like I wouldn't care, or like because I'm not going through it. But I was like, it's a little bit dramatic how like some of the seniors are acting this year. It's like it's really
Yeah,
not that big of a deal.
I didn't go to prom, so I also don't care about that. So I can
I went
honestly say
I went for an hour with my friend, and we got pizza after.
I yeah, I mean, maybe it's because I did full-time running start to where I just didn't really care about any of the high school stuff, but
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't really mind that. Not, I feel like if I was graduating this year, I wouldn't really have minded not walking or anything like that.
I kind of
It
just
is,
cared about my classes. Then
yeah,
besides that, I didn't really care about. I didn't really do like sports and like go to like all the school functions and stuff like that. I was like,
I did not go to one football game the entire
right.
year of high school,
They look
not
so
one sports
boring.
game.
But yeah, I was just excited to get out and move on with college.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you didn't do running start, huh?
I wanted to, but I didn't get my license till like the end of senior year. So I didn't have like
Yeah,
a year.
junior year, literally like a few weeks before the quarter started, I got my license because my mom was like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to drive you to and from school all the time," so I had to get my license in order to even do running start.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, so I guess that kind of wraps up our conversation about that. Let us know what you guys think. If you think businesses should be reopened now, I know that's a big topic, and kind of why you think they should or why you think they shouldn't. What do you think is going to happen with the whole entertainment industry once everything reopens? And yeah, please like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys all in the next video.